A South African heritage pain medicine. Grandpa is South African. It is part of the soul of South Africa. Grandpa transcends race and just speaks of South Africa. That is the kind of story we speak here at the South African Journey. A story that is just South African as Grandpa is South African, not black nor white. Why is it hard for you to embrace South Africa as just South Africa? Political slogans has poisoned your mind that you have a chronic headache. Perhaps you need Grandpa to alleviate your pain. Let us get into this story of Grandpa, the South African story.
Ask any black child growing up in Soweto, Mamelodi, or rural Limpopo. Grandpa is that familiar voice of comfort, the one who said, "Come here, my child," when your head hurt or your heart ached.
Today, I would like us to talk about the great story of South Africa. If you live in South Africa or have visited South Africa, you might be too aware and too familiar with this extraordinary painkiller called Grandpa. Grandpa to South Africa is heritage. It is part of the fabric of South Africa. But how did it happen? Here is the story of the Grandpa headache powder, the Happy Head powder, how Grandpa's headache powder began. Once upon a time, in the warm and busy town of Pretoria, there lived a kind-hearted man named Piet van Tonder. He owned a tiny shop on a cobbled street where birds chirped in the trees and children played hopscotch in the sun. Piet was not just any shopkeeper. He was a clever man who made special mixtures and medicines to help people feel better. But there was one little problem. Piet often had terrible headaches. His head would thump, thump, thump like a marching band inside his skull. "Oh, this silly headache," he'd groan, holding his forehead. "It feels like a drum is playing in my brain." Piet tried everything in his shop. He sniffed peppermint oil, chewed strange roots, and even tied a cold cabbage leaf to his head once. That made his wife giggle. But nothing really worked for long. One day, while Elsie, his cheerful wife who wore bright aprons with sunflowers, brought him a tall glass of cold guava juice, she asked, "Still mixing your powders, my clever Piet?" "Yes, my dear," Piet said, stirring a bowl. "I'm on a mission. I want to make a powder that makes all the grumpy headaches poof, disappear." Piet had little wooden bowls, silver spoons, and glass jars filled with white, pink, and golden powders. He measured each pinch carefully like a magician mixing a spell. A little bit of this, a tiny splash of that, a whisper of lemony scent, and soon he had something new. The powder sparkled softly in the sunlight. It was white like fresh snow on the mountains. Piet sniffed it. Doesn't smell too bad," he said. He folded the powder into tiny paper packets and gave the first one to Mr. Baker, the town's jolly bread maker, who always wore flour on his nose. "My head feels like it's bouncing with tennis balls," Mr. Baker moaned. "Well," said Piet, "try this." Mr. Baker opened the packet and took the powder. A few moments later, his eyes lit up like candles. "Piet!" he cried. "My headache's gone! It's like magic!" Word spread faster than a sneeze in the wind. The mayor, the milkman, the music teacher. Everyone wanted Piet's miracle powder. They said it made their heads feel light and cheerful again. One day, a friendly man named Sifo, who sold things from town to town, came to visit. He had a big smile and shiny shoes. When he saw the long line outside Piet's shop, he whistled. "You've got something special here, Piet," he said. "But it needs a good name, something people will remember. How about Grandpa's headache powder?" "Why Grandpa?" Piet asked. Because everyone trusts a grandpa, Sifo said. You're wise, kind, and always ready to help. That's the kind of magic this powder has. Piet's heart felt warm. He liked that idea. From that day on, the little paper packet said Grandpa's headache powder in big friendly letters. People all over Pretoria, and even from other towns, came to buy it. And whenever someone's head went thump, 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 they knew just what to do. They smiled, opened a packet, and said, "Time for Grandpa's magic." And just like that, the pain went poof, and everyone felt happy again. Thanks to the kind man who never gave up mixing until he found something wonderful. And that, dear reader, is how Grandpa's headache powder became part of South Africa's history. With a little love, a little help from Elsie, and a whole lot of happy heads.
Not a politician, just Grandpa, just relief, just peace. So keep your slogans. We'll keep our stories, our people, our peace. And yes, our Grandpa, because no matter who you are, when your head is thumping and your soul is weary, it's Grandpa who brings the comfort, not politics.